Welcome, crew, to What Are Your Three, a Channel 3 podcast where we take a member of the Channel 3 community, discuss 3 games of their choosing, go through some honorable mentions and some other odds and ends to have a nice little video game discussion. I'm Dan, and with me as always, Ray. And he's also probably confused because I've now 2 episodes in a row just said Ray without doing anything weird.
We just change it. It changes all the time. What's going on, everybody? Today's guest, he's a man with the eye patch. You can see him on Channel 3 because he's streaming all the time. Turbo member. It is Captain Crash. Captain, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Hey, we're doing good. We're excited to have you here. Always good to have a new name, new face on the show. We're excited to talk about some games.
Did Ray say it properly? Was it Captain Crash or is it Captain Crash with the? I don't know if Ray emphasized the second A in Crash.
I didn't enunciate the second A. Is that?
Yeah, just Crash.
Ray's from Jersey originally. I'm from Philly, and he likes to make fun of my accent for the parts that I have not shaken yet. So I had to just take a shot back at him. That's all.
Captain Crash. It's actually a 2-syllable word.
Well, Captain, we're gonna. Go ahead. Sorry.
I had to put 2 A's in there since I only have one eye. I gotta overcome.
There you go. There you go.
Vowel jokes are funny. Well, without further ado, let's move into your games then. We're going to start with game number 1 here, The Legend of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time. See, that's where I previously, Cap, just so we're aware, I used to say Ocarina because there were, as I've explained to Ray on numerous occasions, there were no Ocarina stores in Philadelphia, so I didn't know how to say it. And never once in the course of the game do they say it, so I said
there
it
had to be a
properly
commercial. Now. There had to be a TV commercial that said the name of the game, right?
Ray, they didn't have TVs back then. It was all black and white TV. There was no audio.
That's true. It was a long time ago. That's right.
Just ignore him. Anyway, so was this your first Zelda experience, or is this just the top of the list for you? We're starting off. We said 3 games, anything, and this is what you came up with first.
Yeah, so Zelda Ocarina of Time is definitely my number 1 favorite game, greatest game in my opinion of all time. I started on the very first Zelda, and I actually met my brother playing the Zelda 2, A Link to the Past, or I'm sorry, The Adventures of Link. So
is your brother Error? Or wait, hang on, explain that. I need I'm sorry to derail us. Any clarification here? Unless your brother was I am Error, I need to understand this.
my brother, we kind of were separated for my early childhood, and then when I was 7, I met him, and I didn't remember him, and I met him by walking in. And he was in the back room playing The Adventures of Link. And I went in and sat down next to him. And I said, I'm Cody. Or, and he says, I know, I'm your brother. And I was like, right on, what are you playing? And he tells me, this is the coolest game ever. And he's sitting there hitting one of the floaty skulls in the very first castle. And he has to hit it like 100 times. And he says, this part's really boring, but this is such a great game. And basically, I just sat there, and that's how we got to know each other. We just played The Adventures of Link.
Okay, so fair enough. Sorry for the sidebar. That was one of those things. I had to find out what's going on there, but okay.
That's a great story, by the way. That's an amazing story.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. So, fast forward then, so I'm super into all the Zeldas, but the Ocarina of Time, I just remember when that came out, I mean, for one, the graphics were like the most realistic thing you've ever seen, right?
In my mind, it looks the same as every one of the Unreal Engine. Like every time someone's like, oh, we made Ocarina in Unreal Engine 5, I'm like, yeah, that's what it looks like in my head too.
Exactly. Oh, I've seen those, and those do look just amazing. Yeah. So when that came out, Nintendo 64, I mean, everything was blowing my mind, but that game just, I mean, everything. just getting stuck on all the puzzles. And back then, internet wasn't a thing. So so you had to play a game and actually figure it out. And getting stuck on temples forever, yeah.
It was that or stone tablets you had to find, Ray. I've told Ray before. You had to find a guy who etched it out on a stone tablet for you as to what to do.
It was we had magazines. I had a couple magazines at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, the only other way is if one of your friends figured it out, he'd come running over to your house as fast as he could to help you out.
Now, are we talking specifically about the water temple? Because I gotta say, the game was pretty good at walking you through. Like that first forest battle was just a great, like, what we now consider the demo level, basically, or like the intro level. They kind of walk you through everything, assuming you didn't read the manual. But it had stuff like the water temple. You had stuff like finding certain gear. Certainly going to be problematic for this one.
Yeah. So the water temple, definitely. That was so. Yeah, I got stuck on that for weeks. But really, see, the water temple. Everybody knows that was the one that got us all. But there was parts in the forest temple and the spirit temple that both just hung me up too. So, but yes, the water temple for sure.
The spirit temple is one that, yeah, when you bring it up, that is an underrated, just pit of misery.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So I mean, so you turn this game on. Had you watched like commercials, videos, or was just that first like Navi flight through the village? They really kind of blow you into this world. Like, nope, we're just gonna fly you around and show you what this thing looks like.
Yeah, that was definitely Nintendo flexing on the newest stuff at the time. And like I said, that was just mind blowing. Flying through all that, and you've never seen anything like it, and all of a sudden you're just in it. And going from the Super Nintendo to that, it really did feel like you got put into a Zelda, and or put into the world. And yeah, just getting in there and learning all the mechanics. Yeah, it just throws you in so perfect.
Was there any gear or any items that stuck out in your memory here from this game that really made this one special?
Definitely the ocarina, because that you can even play other songs that just aren't on that list, but you can just sit there and play with it. That was a really cool feature. So the ocarina for sure, but the hook shot definitely sticks out. That made the game so much easier.
Yeah, it was like a whole other thing when you get the hook shot. You're not only just for like travel, but for gathering items and gear.
Oh yeah. And then finally getting to those spots that you're like, how do I get there? And then you finally figure it out. Yeah.
Give me that long shot. I need a little more distance, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is one where this is a Dark Link fight that sticks out in my memory, more so than some of the other Dark Link fights that I think other games have kind of cribbed from through the years. Is that one that sticks out for you? And having done a lot of the Link games, Zelda games through time, is there a Dark Link ranking for you for the games where you get to fight yourself?
Okay, yeah. Well, I guess there's two on that list, and it is definitely in the Ocarina of Time, but my number one would have to be from the Adventures of Link, because you do not see that coming. You fight the what was it, a phoenix, or the ghost thing?
Yeah, the stuff of my nightmares from when I was 5, yes, or 7, whatever it was.
Yeah. So yeah, when all else fails, use fire. That guy. So the thing about that was you have 3 lives, and you have to start from the very beginning, get all the way down there, make it through the maze of a castle, and then fight what you think is the boss. And then finally, once you get him, boom, hey, there's Dark Link. And that was so hard. Like, yeah, shocking and hard. Yeah, then Ocarina of Time, you don't see that coming either. You're just walking through, all reflective. Nintendo was flexing on that little room there too, showing all the reflections in the water. And then, yeah, you're like, oh,
They always did a great job of cheating when you look at how they program that stuff. They did a really good job of figuring out how to, and even to this day, how they're able to consolidate and get nets. It's a beautiful thing to see.
yeah,
Was
yeah.
this a game you played through multiple times, or was this I assume it has to be the case with this being up there for you.
Oh, yeah, yes. I still play it. Sometimes multiple times a year. I'll play through it. Zelda, this game, the franchise, but I'll say definitely the Ocarina of Time. It was just such a big part of my childhood that I actually named my daughter Zelda. So, so I have a daughter, and yep, named her Zelda. And yeah, I mean, I have Zelda tattoos, and it's a big deal to me. Yeah.
Hey, there's a quest on Channel 3 somewhere for your gaming tattoos. Go get that XP.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Well, let's shift over. We're going to talk about another game here. We're going to talk about Silent Hill 2, the existential and literal nightmare of a video game. But we're making a bit of a jump going from the bright, colorful world of Ocarina of Time and Zelda as a whole into the Silent Hill series here.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was also that was my introduction Silent Hill, the first one was my introduction into it. And I believe the second one was already out because there wasn't a gap. I got done playing Silent Hill 1 and I went picked up number 2. And yeah, that game, that's the one that I played all by myself. And yeah, that game was so scary. And it literally did just kind of throw me into the horror franchise. And oh, I'm a huge fan of it. Yeah.
I'm trying to explain to my kids, like, TVs now, like you get these big LCDs and like LEDs, and LCDs are old now. You know what I mean? You get these big LEDs like they're nothing. And, trying to explain to my kids, like 19 inches was a big TV back in our day. And you play a game like this, you had to have your lights off. And in order to get like a good view of the screen, you had to be sitting like a foot and a half from the screen. So when this stuff's happening, it's in your face, or in the case of this game, you just hear like scraping noises and have no idea where they're coming from. And like, well, am I going to die from behind, or is it going to come at me in the front? Like, what's coming to get me?
Yeah, yeah.
So how did this one? So of all the games could have been here, how's this number 2 on the list?
Oh man, it was just the fact that, like I said, it threw me into this new world that I didn't know was there. And it also hooked me onto, well, I guess technically I did a lot of puzzles. So the puzzles, they were done in such a way that you actually had to pay attention throughout the game, because you never knew where a piece of information was actually going to be used. So I guess, yeah, the puzzles and just the scariness of it was enough to just hook me in, and I love it. Yeah.
This is an interesting one because the series is probably most known for the visuals of this guy. I guess you have the visuals of the original Silent Hill and the fog, which was turning a bug into a feature, right? Where, they didn't have the shading and the views off in the distance. So the fog ends up creating more tension and terror. Again, you don't know what's out there in front of you. But Pyramid Head has this, again, I'll use the term pervasive, just imagery across horror, gaming. I think it transcends video games, obviously, crossed into the movie as it's kind of its own thing over there, because this was a specific psychological manifestation for our main character. But what are your thoughts on just like the imagery of this game and just what they did as far as like, there's games where they put jump scares out there and just kind of throw stuff at the screen. This is one where they just create these images and have these like existential psychological horror aspects to them beyond just like, oh, there's a creepy bloody thing.
Yeah, yeah. The imaging and graphics and everything. I think that's something that back in that era, it's like you said, it was like a bug, and that then it's like that was just the best that they could do, and with that fog, and then you move forward and you find out that that was one of the big things that made that game was just how the distance that you could see or couldn't see and hearing the noises, and then boom, here comes some crazy nurse, like all just mangled and messed up, and you're like, what is that? Like,
Just a big old serving of nope is what that is. I'm out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and moving forward to Pyramid Head, when you face him in that stairwell, oh my gosh, you're just stuck in a little tiny room, and also the camera angle, because you weren't just moving around your guy, or you were stuck in a room and the camera was fixed basically. And yeah, that fixed camera also made things so much scarier.
So this is one that had multiple endings. Did you do multiple playthroughs? Is this one you got a few different endings here, including a particularly wacky one?
Yeah, the UFO ending. I did not see the UFO thing coming. Yeah, that when that happened, I was just like, what? And the dog ending too. That was weird. I have played through it multiple times, and it's another one that I try to play through it. That's more of like a spooky season. Try to play through that like once a year also.
Oh, don't worry, you're gonna have another opportunity, because they did an HD release before, but Konami remembered they make video games and they've got good intellectual property over there, so they're getting ready to take a run at this one again. Silent Hill 2 was announced they're doing a remake a year ago almost. I think they announced it last October, so hopefully the next year or two we get a fresh crack at this one.
Oh yeah, I am so excited for that. Oh, like their whole Silent Hill transmission, it wasn't just a Silent Hill 2 remake. No, they're just like, oh yeah, we know what you want, and here's 7 games and a new movie. And that was just mind blowing, and I can't wait. I hope they're all just like, I hope they're just all accepted and do great, so that's a franchise that doesn't die off again, and hopefully it just keeps going.
All right, so game 3 on the list. So we this is a variety list here. I love it. Game 3, Diddy Kong Racing. So we go from big adventure to horror to racing. Diddy Kong Racing. Tell me about this game here.
Okay, so this was again Nintendo 64, and I gotta be honest, and I know a lot of the Channel 3 Mario Kart's where it's at, and I'm might be a hot take, but that's not true. This is Diddy Kong Racing is like the best kart game ever made.
It's okay. You could say it. Say it with pride. You don't have to.
All right.
Nothing to hide here.
Best
You're
one
in a
ever
safe
made.
space.
Why is Diddy Kong Racing the best one ever made?
All right. You got just everything from, let's just look at karts alone. There's airplanes and hovercraft, and then you have those worlds. So you have the water worlds, you have all those worlds that those vehicles make sense, and the handling was great. You have the Mario Kart, weapons, that's in there. Well, there's a story. There's a story behind it. Not all kart games have a story, and this one has a story, and the bosses were actually well thought up, and actually some of them were pretty hard. and then you have the multiplayer, and the multiplayer, I feel Mario Kart 8 is directly going back to Diddy Kong Racing and pulling stuff from that game, because now they're multiplayer. You have, so in Diddy Kong Racing, you had the balloon one where if you got hit so many times, you would lose your balloon. So it was like deathmatch. But then you also had, what was that? I believe you would collect bananas, right? Is that what you would collect?
I'd have to look it up and see again because I can't remember.
Because they won't give it, they won't re-release this one for us. It'd be a lot nicer if we got to play it again.
Yeah. Anyhow, the multiplayer was next level. I mean, not only can you race and do what Mario Kart does, but there was the death matches and the other multiplayer modes that were really great. Then, yeah, so story, bosses, the different carts, all the different levels, and then you even have the bonus levels. Yeah, it was just, I feel like it was just ahead of its time, and yes, it deserves a remaster, and it deserves to get back in the sunshine.
Which vehicle would you prefer to use? The airplane, the car, or the hovercraft?
I do like the car. That, yeah, I would say that I'm a car guy for sure.
And a story mode again. Is this another one? Did you play it a bunch of times through, like finishing the story and everything, or was this kind of like a one-time thing?
Yeah, Diddy Kong Racing. Yes, I play that quite a bit, and yeah, I don't always get to play it once a year, but and that'll change if we ever get that remaster. I'll be playing it all the time.
Also, is this one you're still playing today? You still turn it on your 64?
Yep. It's funny enough, it's actually the only Nintendo 64 game, because I'm a game collector now, and right now it's the only Nintendo 64 game that I have complete in box and all that.
Join us on the Bucket and Hoosier Show, the podcast that's all about community and competitive Rocket League.
If you're new to Rocket League, it's a high-flying, fast-paced game that combines soccer with rocket-powered cars. It's a game that's easy to pick up, but difficult to master.
And that's where our guests come in. We're talking about the best of the best in the Rocket League community to learn about their journeys, strategies, and tips for success.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, we've got something for everyone. So sit back, relax, and join us as we explore the exciting world of competitive Rocket League.
Join us live Monday evenings at twitch.tv/Bucket and Hoosier, and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts to catch past episodes. Be sure to hit the follow and notification button so you know when new content has been posted.
All right, so we finished our three main games, and we're going to move on to the honorable mentions. A couple games that did not make the list, but we're still going to talk about here. And the first one, Super Mario World. So let's just start. Super Mario World. Where does this rank for you in terms of Mario games?
Oh man, you know what? I'll put it at number 2.
Okay, what's number 1?
Mario 64.
Ooh, this is a good.
All right, Ray was ready to do battle with you. You settled him down a little bit. Okay.
This is a good. Okay, so 64 is number 1, but you want to talk about Super Mario World. Why are we talking about Super Mario World here?
So Super Mario World is, again, growing up with all the Marios, that was actually one of my very first, like, playing a Mario game was actually one of my very first memories. And then, yeah, when the Super Nintendo came out, and it just had those like cleaner graphics, and I feel like they just nailed it. And it's honestly, I still don't know why, but I would go over to my grandma's house, and somehow, some way, she had a Super Nintendo, and she had Super Mario World, and it was just like for me when I would go there. So it's something that, again, I played a lot in my childhood, and yeah, it's one of those games I still get together with my brother, especially now that it's on the Switch. and we could play it. So it's one of those games that gets played at least once a year, played and beat like, the 100%.
So you're going, you're doing all the secret areas. Are you unlocking kind of all that extra stuff too? Kind of like those hidden like item bases that you can find and power up in?
Oh yeah. Yep. Gotta do it all.
And then do you play it again with the kind of the altered levels once you finish the whole thing through? Do you do like that a second run through with all the colors changed and whatnot?
Oh yeah, I played a little bit like that. I guess I've never played through the second time. That's weird now that I think about it.
Like I said, I don't know how many have because I've seen it. I've probably played a little, but I've never completed like a second run through with that either.
I don't remember that
Damn
at all.
it.
I remember the Star Road and like getting all the special levels there. Frankly, I didn't realize you could take another run at the thing.
Yeah, you told it again. The colors change. Like, the first map is like orange instead of green.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That
tell
is-
me, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. And now that it's brought up, I'm gonna definitely have to play through it again on the second go around.
Yeah, I don't know how much different it is because I haven't played it. I don't actually know if I know anyone that's of all the games like that. I mean, I don't know anyone who's done the extra game on the original Mario Brothers either. Dan, I don't know if you've done that one with the little star next to the levels.
I do remember that now that you mention it. The colors on the Super Mario World don't even ring a bell at all. That's the problem. I guess you know what I got to do now. Yeah.
I have to look it up and make sure that I'm just not like making this all up because it's very possible.
You are right. I do.
Right?
I do remember. Yeah.
So talk to me about Yoshi. I mean, this kind of out of left field, right? Just a dinosaur. Do we just add into the game here?
Oh yeah. See, that's the other thing that made Super Mario World just so amazing. Was Yoshi. Yoshi just comes out of nowhere, and you're like, "Sweet, I got a dinosaur that I could ride," and he eats everything.
He eats everything. What would be what color Yoshi would you prefer to ride if you could always pick?
Blue all the time. I will go right back to that star world and scoop him up underwater. You let him eat that star that falls right at the beginning of the level, and he's big immediately. Yep, I I go there all the time to get blue Yoshi.
And does it have to do with the fact that Blue Yoshi will fly with whatever he eats?
Yeah.
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 For sure, definitely the best power for that one there. And
Yeah.
Feelings on the cape versus the Tsuki tail. That is always that's always the argument here.
Be warned, he is judging you again.
Yeah. So, oh my goodness, you know what? I'm gonna have to say it seems like he's better with the cape. Like I don't know, maybe it fits him better, but the tail, that's just the more original. But I never, now looking back at it, like I've never understood what the raccoon tail, how that made him fly.
I don't know if anyone's ever actually said that, and I don't think I've ever thought about it. That it should not. I guess it shouldn't make you fly, but again, also I don't know if you should be riding a dinosaur at all times either, right?
True. So I guess if we're just looking at it and we're taking the fact that a tail can't make you fly, and we're just going off of looks, yeah, I'm gonna have to say cape.
No
I'll
questions
also-
about fire flowers or mushrooms doing anything to people here. We're just
Listen,
gonna...
I was also gonna say the cape also doesn't mean you should fly either. I can't put a cape on and start flying either. So I'm not saying one of them is more sensible than the other. Neither one of them on their own should make a human fly. There's no question.
True.
We got sensible. At least they put wings on the cap in 64, right? At least I could say that there's wings that, maybe if there was better graphics, the wings would have fluttered and that would have flown. Like we could start accepting it a little more. The hat is attached to his head, unless the monkey or bird grabs it off you, then it's not attached to your head anymore.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things we have to accept in Mario World.
Yeah, that is true. And just for a disclaimer, that was actually a difficult question for me because I've never thought about it, and I have Mario with the tail tattooed on me. So from Super Mario 3.
Well,
So
that answer's easy then. Don't let Ray
There
throw
it
you
is.
off.
so it's
He does
like,
this to everybody,
really?
but you got the right answer.
Yeah.
Well, so everyone's free to whatever thoughts they want.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. Next game on the list here, second honorable mention, Mortal Kombat. Now, I'm pretty sure when you sent us the list, it just said Mortal Kombat. So I have to ask, which Mortal Kombat are we chatting about?
Oh man.
Are we talking
I
about
guess-
all the Mortal Kombats? Is this it's like a
Yeah, I guess
series?
just as a franchise.
Where did it start for you?
It started Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat 1, I believe. It was either 1 or 2. And yeah, so but I will say I played the game and all that, but the thing that hooked me in was the old school movie back in the day, the
Great movie.
Mortal Kombat movie. Yeah. So basically while everybody was watching cartoons and singing and dancing to Disney movies, I literally spent my whole childhood watching that movie 1, 2, sometimes 3 times every day, and I would sit there and fight. I would do all the fighting moves throughout the movie, and that was me basically singing along to SpongeBob. That was my equivalent. So I was hooked in right there, and then I had a neighbor when Mortal Kombat Trilogy, I think, came out on the 64. I would go over and play that at my neighbor's house, and he would get so mad that he would kick me out. And I was, 10, 11, and my neighbor was like 30. So I was over there whooping on a grown man, and he would kick me out of the house. And yeah, so just yeah, that one just sticks out. I had to throw that in there, and I haven't played the new one, the Mortal Kombat 1, but I played 11. And the way they did that game and the way they have gone into remaking it, so to speak, they like just how do you do that? I didn't see something like that coming. So
Hard reboot.
so yeah, that was amazing. And so yeah, the Mortal Kombat franchise, I guess I would have to say, is really what sticks out to me.
Are you happy with kind of like the reset of everything and the kind of the switching up of the character roles to a certain degree?
Yeah, I think it is cool and refreshing. And maybe that's why I can't really pick just one game, is because they're all kind of the different characters. But for the most part, I mean, yeah, they had different stories. For the most part, they seemed like kind of all just new versions of each other. And now you actually have something that has an in-depth story, and it's actually changing everything up, or a lot of stuff up. So it's refreshing, I guess.
Let's go to your third honorable mention, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. So I'm just going to start, feel free, kind of tell us what brought Skyrim here.
Okay. So I started out on Morrowind, and then I just played that kind of at a friend's house, and I loved it. And then Oblivion came out, and I owned that, and I just got stuck into that world forever. And then when Skyrim came out, oh my gosh, and it happened again. It was like something that didn't really happen to me since the Nintendo 64 days. When I saw Skyrim come out, those graphics, everything, it was just like, whoa, dude, like this is the best graphics I've ever seen. And then just seeing how like it was a never-ending game basically. And yeah, just all of it, the dragons, oh, just everything. They just nailed on that.
So how did you approach the game? Because this is a game that, like you said, it's expansive. It is open, so you just explore the world and all of its vastness, or you can follow. There is a narrative, or there are several narratives, I should say, but there's obviously a primary narrative that you can follow from the moment the game starts. Did you just kind of wander? Did you follow the story? Did you do a little bit of both?
A little bit of both, but more on the wandering side. Definitely.
This was the closest I came to like, no disrespect anybody with ADD. I'd start on the main quest and like, I just start wandering off the side quests, and eventually I'd wander back. Was that kind of your approach with this?
Yes, exactly. That whole line that they said, that if you can see it, you can go there. And it was like, all right, I'm just going everywhere.
Plenty of hopping your way up mountains. I feel like this was the game that really made its bones by allowing you to just jump your way up an entire mountain face.
Oh, yeah.
There's a path around the other side of the mountain, but no, I'm gonna jump 75 times instead of walking the 3 seconds it took me to get around.
Yeah, I literally have a friend that's playing through it, and she couldn't figure out how to get up to the throat of the world. And I was like, the entrance to that trail is somewhere right here, but I couldn't find it again. And I ended up jumping her up the mountain. So it's funny that you say that.
So did you have one character? Did you have multiple like playthroughs of the game for this one?
I have played it. I've played it a couple times, but I had one character, the dark elf, and that's the one that got the most playtime. I platinumed that game on PlayStation.
Wow. Magic user primarily, then, I assume, is a dark elf.
Yeah, I like the magic, and that's the other thing about this game, was that where most games you level up and then you just kind of, you're maxed out, and this, you're like, okay, well, I did magic, and now things are getting too easy and kind of boring. Now I'm gonna go grab a sword that I've never swung, and I'm gonna turn into a sword guy.
Yeah, the skill specific upgrades or skill specific, experience points were great.
Yeah.
So you're not the first to discuss this, and this is a game that's been with us for more than a decade. Because I thought about it on my personal timeline. I'm like, no, I moved and took this with me. I took my PlayStation 3 with me in a hotel while I was relocating for work. So I know this was 12 years now. This game is, and we're waiting for the Elder Scrolls 6. We're gonna get it in 2026 ish or whatever. What's made this game stick with us for so long?
Oh, it's got to be it's got to be because there's not a new one.
Well, yeah. Besides not a new one, but people still talk about this game. People still they will bring this game up. There are still people who are playing this game. They have released an upgrade for the PlayStation 5 of this game. They have this released for the Switch for this game. It's still out there. They don't have a gun to their heads to release a new one because it's still being played.
Yeah, and it's got to be just how never ending it is. That's a world that you could get into, and it's something that not very many games can do, especially I feel this day and age. It feels like I'm getting less and less sucked into a game. There are games that do it, but Skyrim definitely, it just sucks you in and you can just live there.
And one last question on Skyrim. Did you play this on the Alexa? It's you have the ability to. Did you do it?
No, I haven't played it on the Alexa.
I don't know if anybody has. I just eat 27 cheese wheels and call it a day.
Is anyone playing anything on the Alexa? or even what's the one? Where's Fortnite on now? The Amazon was like, hey, you could play it. You can play it on
Besides
the
the
Luna.
Luna?
The Luna. There you go. Like, is anyone playing games on these? Like,
I'm
really,
amazed, Ray, I'm
really.
amazed Mr. shares the Amazon free games every month. I'm amazed you don't have a Luna.
Why? I mean, I don't even
Because
have
it's
like
there. Like they're trying to give those things away. How do you just not have it?
let me tell you, all the ones I download, I have a bunch downloaded from the Amazon Prime free games, and I don't think I have that gaming app downloaded on my PC because I never have actually opened any of
Just
these
slap
games
it on
that
your
I have
TV, Ray.
sitting
That's all
there.
you got to do. Forget the PC. Just slap it on the
Oh my
TV.
god, I don't even know. Can my TV do it? I have an old
Probably
TV.
can. If not, just say it to the sky, and Bezos will make it happen.
It's just shut it down.
All right, well, let's jump. We're gonna go from a game that's been hanging around for more than a dozen years to a game that, well, frankly, by the time people are hearing this episode, we should have some more concrete news on with this one. Frankly, we're expecting a trailer possibly during the Game Awards. That's the rumor, and frankly, I would think that's going to be the case here. But I believe Ray has researched that December 12th might be a pre-order date for this game, and
That's of like today. This like
yeah,
that's the leak. That
fresh
came out.
news, fresh news. So what do you?
Wow.
So this also kind of prompted. This was again, you're newer to Channel 3 here. You just kind of put it out there. You want to talk Grand Theft Auto 6. So we're gonna
Oh,
step aside and hand the podium over to you.
okay. Okay. So, I mean, me and probably the whole world, this is a game that it's one of those games that you would buy it if it was on a specific console, it would sell that console. I feel. And
Instead, it's been on every
So-
console for 3 generations now for the last one. Yeah.
yeah. So this game, with how long they kept Grand Theft Auto 5 around and the success that game has had, the online version especially, is that now they have set themselves up that if GTA 6 isn't the most amazing thing everybody's ever seen, it's gonna, you know how bad those reviews are gonna get. So, and with that, I've just been thinking, I've heard a lot of the rumors, multiple maps. It's kind of, after playing a decade of GTA Online, it's like, this is what we want, So, so it's like, I feel it's got to have multiple maps. The cars need to be like way more customizable. You need to be able to drift if you want. You go, if they do another like country type of area, have lifted trucks, like do stuff that you can actually, I don't want to say it would be a mini game, but like you would have these little clubs kind of like you have right now. Like, oh, well, we just get into Grand Theft Auto Online to go mudding up in the woods because it's fun. And kind of like you would do on Mud Runner or Snow Run.
I want a golf cart on a monster truck body is what you're saying. Like you want to be able to just make it happen.
Exactly. Be able to do, basically, if you can do it in real life to a car, you should be able to do it in this game. And so then I heard one of the rumors that you're going to be able to bet. And this is what really sparked this whole thing is, okay, so you can bet, and it's already in there, but they said that it'll be player versus player. Like they're breaking it down in a new way. And I thought, wouldn't it be amazing if you did, if they put riding bikes, like BMXing, if they put all these things in the game, rally races, drifting races, all this stuff, and you can actually play it, okay? Well, then if they put the betting, so you go into the casino or a stadium or whatever, and it's like, instead of just betting and watching a computer animated thing, wouldn't it be crazy if that was actual real players playing those sports? and you could literally bet on them.
Pete Rose is in. I know that much.
There's some virtual reality. This is living in the game kind of stuff.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you gave me galaxy brain issues just now.
So it's like all that. And then, yeah, you just think about what could actually be done with this game. You know, obviously there's the easy things like destructive environments, more buildings to go in and out of, like all that is kind of basic and I feel is expected. Especially with what we've seen since GTA 5, what we see in games. So
it's been multiple generations. That came out on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. We're generations later. We should see this stuff, I think. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, yeah, they said that they're gonna have like a real-time airport. You know, this is what the rumors say. So it's like if they're gonna do this big and this is a game that we're gonna play for 15 years, it would be cool to see all these things. But that whole betting, and if it was actually players doing the sport that you're betting on, like that would just be mind-blowing, and that would be something that would keep this game around for 15 years because you could get in it. And if you liked, so I love the dirt games. So if there was rally racing in Grand Theft Auto, I would be in there playing rally racing game. Like if you had the feeling to play a different game besides just Grand Theft Auto, but it was already in that game, you could just sit there. It would be its own little world.
Beyond just, we go in the country club and play a round of golf now, but may as well get everything else in there while we're at it. Just a full, the thing Meta is trying to do everywhere. Just get GTA to do it before them and do it better.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so much that has me excited. Like there's so much potential. I know that what I'm talking about right now is maybe above and beyond what's capable. But
you may not be far off. Like I said, I mean, I know they iterated on this throughout the multiple generations, but you know, we're gonna be talking next gen before we know it. There's no reason not to see some of this stuff, I think.
Exactly. And oh man, just everything that can be done. And then I want to throw this out there too, because then, you know, you have people saying that it can only be so big. Or I'm a game collector, like I said, so I like physical copy stuff. And well, you can't get that type of stuff on a disc. Well, with I was thinking about this too, especially with Grand Theft Auto. I feel them and maybe Bethesda for the Elder Scrolls. I feel like those two games are probably the only games that could pull it off. If you sold a physical copy thing, why not make it a terabyte hard drive?
Well, here's the thing though, like the discs don't mean anything anymore. Because I can't figure out why, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to be a 2-discer. I don't know why, because the disc is just like an unlock key now that just downloads the files to your system. So I don't know. I don't even know what that means. It's making my head hurt trying to understand this. And I know a lot of like Xbox physical copies in retail stores are dying. And to your point, I mean, hey, maybe you can sell a terabyte hard drive with it, but I don't know if they're gonna bother.
Yeah. So that whole thing, it's just like, I don't know, mind blowing to me, because being a collector is one thing, but then you just got to think. I understand the digital world and it does make things super easy and all that, but like, I know that there was a game recently that they just pulled off of everything. Like,
even Avengers was the last one I know of that got, off the top of my head, they delisted it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you pay money for this and then all of a sudden they can just take it away. But then the reason my case for physical games is you could, give it to a friend. You can gift them. We got Christmas coming up, how it's, I don't know, it's just physical. So you can sell it for some money. You can trade it. If they want to push an all digital world, they need to make it so you can actually, like, you have a tangible thing,
Yeah, there was some game too that had like the game doesn't physically exist, but they sold a collector's edition of just like, here's what you would get with the collector's edition, including an empty box of where the game would be.
Yeah, that is crazy to me.
That's our world. They've been pushing for a few years. Here we go. Hey, I got to ask real quick though, Ray. Do you know what the collective revenue of Grand Theft Auto 5 has been?
No, that's a
non-Price is Right rules. So just take your best guess.
Oh, you looked it up already?
I did. Yeah, don't look it up.
Oh, okay, hold on a second.
Craash, what do you think?
Oh man, altogether, how much that game has made?
Yeah, what its revenue is? How much money has it brought in?
Oh man, I'm probably gonna aim high, but I want to say 10 years. I'm gonna say $10 billion.
Ray,
is that crazy?
Honestly, 10 years. Let's see. They did not make $100 million every single year. That's $630 million.
$8 billion, Ray.
I said $10 billion.
You know what's cooler than $1 million? $1 billion. You know what's cooler than $1 billion? $8 billion.
Let me tell you, you're gonna have to look back at some point. I don't know. Maybe people talk about this. Rockstar as a gaming company, hard to listen. They make a certain style of game. Hard to find a miss as I go through their list of games. I mean, you have the Grand Theft Auto series, you have Red Dead Redemption, you got Midnight Club, which I think is one of the better racing series of games.
Even the weird stuff though, like
Max
still
Payne,
good. Yeah.
Bully gets talked about, like kind of that weird game, but people talk about it all the time. I mean,
wasn't like Manhunt and stuff like that there?
Manhunt,
that's where you get like
stuff.
The weird stuff is still like, it's a weird game that's only for certain people, but guess what? It's still good.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? Maybe is the Italian Job, like game based on movie, is that gonna be their worst game on this list? Rockstar, they're careful about what they put in. They know their lane and they do it well.
I would like to say something on that. Is the PlayStation 2 era of games, just in general, when they were still, everybody was trying new stuff. And you just had like the greatest collection of games on PlayStation 2. And now it's like, okay, we do Grand Theft Auto. It's like they just stick to what got big. And I wish that they would just start pumping out a lot more. Just, hey,
$8 billion is tough to argue, but they got house money to play with.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, Craash. So what we do at this point, we do quests on Channel 3. We take a question, and we're going to pull it from the Channel 3 history books. We don't tell you what we're going to ask here. We're going to pick one of those questions for you to discuss with us here. And we're going to ask just, what's your gaming snack of choice?
Gaming snack of choice. Ooh, it's a good one. I don't typically snack when I game.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's that's weird. Right.
I'll tell you what, since you couldn't answer that, I can't give we do XP for these questions, so you could skip that one on Channel 3 right now. Unless you think of sometime you ruined a controller with some Cheetos, but I'll ask you a different one, Cap. Let's go with this. What is the first game you remember beating all the way through?
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's actually, it's got to be the very first Mario. The very first Super Mario Brothers.
How on earth did you handle the 7th and 8th castles?
I died a lot.
Just the timer infuriating you, just running down like, wait, why do I keep coming back to the same hallway?
Yeah. Yep. And then it was just so amazing though when when you finally beat that game. You finally guess all the right patterns, and boom, you do it.
Yeah, that's a game. People will play it as an adult now, and say like, "Oh, I'll run this game. I can go play it in an hour and get through it." And you forget that the game is made for kids. And that is, I mean, what a tough ask that game is for a kid to play. Like, if you're telling me, "Oh, I'm an adult and I'm playing it now," good for you. The game wasn't made for you. Like, you can't judge it like you're an adult. You gotta remember, you as a kid with a clock running down that is not running with real seconds. I mean, just making your life difficult. That game is hard.
Yeah, that's probably got to be why we have such a problem with anxiety these days. We were raised into it.
First of all, the timer, it's not going by seconds. And then the last 100, they like rush you through. They're like, you're running out of time, so we're going to actually make the time go faster just to let you know you're running out of time.
And speed that music up.
You got to hurry up.
Yeah.
And the last question we ask everybody, what's been your favorite feature on Channel 3 so far?
Oh my gosh, I was thinking about this, and that is so difficult because I love the whole thing, but I love the games, and I was trying to figure out which game I like the most, and that's got to be the it's a toss-up, the Target, and I'm gonna say Target. That's a good one.
Target's having a good day. We actually recorded a podcast right before this one. It's gonna be out of order, but podcast 2 for 2 tonight. I mean, Target's 2 for 2 tonight.
Yeah.
What's a game that you'd like to see on Target?
Oh man.
I just too.
So Mario Kart is the one that I don't really play Fortnite, and I haven't played Spider-Man. So I still play those on the Target game, and I actually get pretty close on both of those when I don't know anything about it. I just like look, and I can get pretty close on those. And then Mario Kart, I'm usually the worst at, but I know that game better. The game that I would want on there, okay, let's go with Skyrim. That's a game that's been out forever. Skyrim or GTA. Yeah.
I gotta mix some GTA 5s back into it. I did do them before. I told somebody recently I booted Skyrim back up. That's how I know there's a PS5 upgrade for it, because I booted it back up. I gotta go find the thing with Skyrim too. I was telling somebody there's so much gray nothingness. I gotta find some landmarks besides Whiterun and a few of the other. I need to find some distinct points. That's my goal. That'll be coming in the coming weeks, no doubt. But yeah, good call on Skyrim.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, we've made it to the end of another What Are Your Three podcast. Thank you, Captain Crash, for being here. You can find the podcast at c3.gg/podcast, dropping every Wednesday morning at 3:33 a.m. Eastern on all the major platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. I'm Ray. Dan Tucker puts it all together. And for our executive producer, Joel Willis, have a good day, everybody.
All right, let's move into your third honorable mention. The Erdl. See, that's the part that just goes away. Ray, were you about to say something? I'm sorry.
No, it's all you.
So,